Alright, so today we're looking at UpScrolled, and honestly the timing of this one is perfect because they've just had an insane week. This is a brand new social media app that's blowing up right now. Just this past week they hit #1 on the App Store and also reached 2.5 million users. This is all happening as more people are disconnecting from platforms like TikTok and Instagram. People are tired of these platforms suppressing content when they speak about important topics like ICE in the US or Gaza. UpScrolled's pitch is very simple. They're going back to how social media should have been. You only see the people that you follow. There's no suppressing of content or shadow banning, and there's no algorithm games to keep you hooked. Clearly people want this. Just last week when I started preparing this video, they just hit 1 million users. Then just a few days later, while speaking at Web Summit, their founder, Issam Hijazi, announced that they've surpassed 2.5 million users. So this is insane growth. But here's the thing, they've got all this attention right now. They have the biggest media outlets like Forbes and TechCrunch speaking about them. But can their landing page convert this interest into actual downloads and users? Right now, I don't think so. So let's look at 3 high impact fixes that we can make to this landing page to convert more while the momentum is hot. Alright, so let's jump into this landing page. The first thing we see when we land here is the title, Time to Scroll Differently. And honestly, I feel like this is the weakest part of the page and probably where we're losing a lot of people. The headline is vague, like time to scroll differently, but how? It doesn't really tell me anything about how UpScrolled is different or what it is. There's also no tension or hook or curiosity to keep me reading. The subheadline then immediately opens with shadow banned elsewhere. And to be honest, I think this is probably the wrong direction. The main pain point for people probably isn't shadow banning. That's a very small percentage of people that have actually experienced that. I think the universal feeling that everyone can relate to is the feeling of frustration that they're losing control over their social media feed. People scroll for 40 minutes, they don't feel anything. Everything they saw was chosen for them and designed just to keep their attention and keep them hooked. So that's the pain point that we need to tap into. The rest of the headline kind of recovers a little bit. So UpScrolled is a social platform where every voice gets equal power, no shadow bans, no algorithm games, no pay to play. There's a lot of different things going on in the subheadline, but I think we really need to focus on refining that message. The hero really needs to do 3 things. So it needs to name that pain point that people feel, then position UpScrolled as the antidote to that, and then create a pull. So we're going to open a loop or create some curiosity to keep people reading down the page. We also have this filler line, just join the switch everyone's making, join UpScrolled, but we haven't really built any credibility or built any trust in this section to justify that line. There's no sign of momentum or users here. As we scroll down, we have this big feature image of the platform, and I really like this, showing off how it looks and allowing people to experience what the UI is. So this is great. Below it, we have this 4.9 rating and also fast growing. It's a little bit hard to see, but it's there. The problem with this is there's no context. It doesn't tell me what the rating is for, and fast growing doesn't really describe anything like what is that in terms of numbers that I can understand. There's no trust element here, and the ones that we're seeing, they're not really adding any weight to the conversation. So definitely a missed opportunity in the hero section. The next section that we get to is the mission section, and I'm glad to see this on the page. The only problem here is it's very generic and a little bit underwhelming. So we have this big title, built for impact, driven by purpose, powered by you. Doesn't really give me a sense of the mission itself. Beside this then we have UpScrolled is for everyone, from minorities to small businesses, creators and everyday people. We're building the next big social platform, one designed to work for people who care. The problem here is the core message is not really punching through. There is this line down the bottom. This didn't start as a business idea. It started because we were fed up. This is actually the strongest piece of copy on the entire page. It's honest, it's human, and has personality. But it's buried at the end of this page, or at the end of this long paragraph where most people are probably already stopped reading. People don't buy products from generic mission statements, but they will buy from people who feel what they feel. So when you say we're fed up, that's a shared emotion, and that's what creates connection. So I think there's elements in this mission section that are good, but overall it's not really jumping out at me. After reading this, I should know exactly who you are, what you're about, and why this matters. If we can get that right, we can get a lot more people to buy into this mission. The next section we have here is a preview of what the platform looks like, and these images are really nice, again showing the user what they can expect on UpScrolled. The only problem here I have is with the copy. So designed for clarity, built for people. And I feel like this is AI generated copy. So we have UpScrolled gives you the tools to share freely, connect deeply, stay in control. AI always writes in threes like this, and there's nothing wrong with using AI to develop your website copy. But you can tell that all these sections are disconnected and there's no through line or real understanding of how the user feels or what message would resonate with them as they're going through this page. The images of the app are really good, but I think the point of this section is to tell me how UpScrolled is different. Not the same features that I can expect on Instagram or TikTok, but tell me exactly what makes this platform different, because at this section, I think that's what people are looking for. Okay, the next section we have is this founder's quote. And I really like the fact that the founder is putting his voice forward and speaking about this mission. The only problem I have with this is visually, it's very small, so it's lacking impact. We really want to make this mission more impactful. And then the text, again, it feels like the start of an investor update or something. UpScrolled is the foundation for a digital ecosystem that puts power back in the hands of the people, not the corporations. This should really feel like you're a friend speaking to me, telling me why this matters and why it's important. There's quotes and videos on the other pages, like the about page, of the founder speaking directly to camera that really hit home because they're very authentic. So I think this one here is a bit of a missed opportunity. Next, we have this comparison table, and I think this is great. It's allowing people to understand the different features and very simply laying it out in this format, I think works really well. Next section we have are the reviews, and I have two problems with the review section. First of all, we haven't built trust further up the page. So at this point, we've probably lost 90% of people and we haven't built any trust or credibility with them. Second problem I have is just the sheer volume of reviews and the fact that they're moving. In my opinion, like 4 or maybe 5 hand-selected specific quotes would be a lot more impactful than, let's say, 30 or so that are here. I think you can choose ones that speak exactly to the hesitations or concerns that people might have, and I think that would do a lot more than having like a wall of reviews like this. Final section here is frequently asked questions, and I think this is, again, really good. At this point, if I've got to the end of the page, maybe I have a few more questions that I'm looking to have answered, and if you can answer them in a simple format like this, you're doing a great job. Only other thing I would say is we've kind of ended the page without a call to action. If we're on mobile, people will have to scroll all the way back up to the top. So we want to end the page with a clear CTA so people don't have to do that. Okay, so that is the page, and there's really 3 core problems that I see here. First of all, the hero section, we want to rewrite this around a universal pain that everyone feels and not the niche problem of shadow banning. This is definitely the highest leverage change that we can make on this page. So right now we're opening up with shadow banned elsewhere, and that really narrows it down to a very small percentage of people. But almost everyone, I think, can understand that frustration of scrolling for 20 minutes and feeling like nothing was chosen for you but just for your attention. So that's the feeling that we need to name. If we can grab people emotionally with a headline like that, everything else from the page below will just flow a lot more. Second is the mission section. We have these elements on the page, but they feel very generic and none of the mission is really shining through. I think UpScrolled could really use their mission to their advantage. They can't really go head to head with TikTok or Instagram on features or UX, but they can go head to head on mission. And I think people will accept small bugs or imperfections in the platform as long as they know your mission and the deeper why behind why all of this matters. So I think we need to focus on bringing that mission out and making it a lot more bold and inspiring. The final fix I would make to this page is not really to do with the structure. The structure of the page, all the sections is actually okay, but all the copy feels very disconnected. There's no single narrative pulling the reader down the page. Every section earns the next, so it should feel like one continuous argument as we scroll through this page. Okay, so we've torn this page apart, we've highlighted the 3 fixes that we want to make. Let's actually look at the redesign that I've done so we can see how this all looks. And these are not just small tweaks, I think these are changes that can really move the needle and make sure that UpScrolled can capitalize on the media attention that they're getting right now. First of all, main thing you can see here is the main big headline. Someone else has been choosing your feed, not anymore. So what we're doing there is tapping into that uncomfortable feeling that you're not in control of your feed. And I think that's something that will resonate with a lot of people. And then we're not explaining exactly the fix or exactly what UpScrolled does, but we're just opening a loop. We're creating curiosity with not anymore, and the brain doesn't like an open loop, so we're just using that to encourage people to keep scrolling and to keep learning more. In the subheadline, we're going to go with every scroll, every post, every you might like this, an algorithm picked it, not for you, but for your attention. So again, we're just tapping on that pain a little bit. We're twisting the knife and making that uncomfortable feeling that everyone understands and can resonate with. And then we're going to position UpScrolled as the antidote. With UpScrolled, you're in control of what you see. So we're not telling the full picture here. We're just giving an insight into the pain that we all understand, and then just showing UpScrolled as the antidote to that pain. A couple of other elements that we've added to this hero section, which I think are important. We've kept the rating, 4.9 rating, but we're also backing this up with 2.5 million users and growing fast. So we want to show the momentum in this platform. We want people to feel like they're missing out by not joining, so we're going to keep that very visual there. Also added this sticky CTA, so this QR code on the right hand side, so as users scroll the page, at any point if they feel like they want to download, it's right there. At the end of the day, the most important thing we're doing with this landing page is driving downloads to the App Store, so that's the main focus for this page. As we scroll down, I've kept the big visual of the platform. I think it's really nice to include, but we've also added this live counter of number of members joined. So again, with this, we want to show momentum. We want to show that there's active users. It's growing rapidly. So I think the live counter here adds a lot more weight to this argument. So overall, we've positioned the pain, we've hinted at the solution, and then we've backed it up with real results or real users using the platform. And I think that creates a very strong argument for someone to continue reading. Just below this, we're going to add a featured in section. And again, this is just building credibility. So we've been mentioned in Forbes, Business Insider, TechCrunch. Let's just add a simple banner here mentioning that. So as people scroll, people are thinking, okay, this is serious. This is something I should pay attention to, and I'm going to continue learning about it. Just below this, we're going to go with a very simple testimonial section. We're not going with too many testimonials. We're just going to handpick 4 that speak to those different pain points or different hesitations people might have, and include it in a simple visual like this. Now that we've made the argument, we've backed it up with credibility. Now we want to actually explain what makes this different. This is the main question that's going to come to people's mind. In this simple how it works section, we're just going to lay that out. So 3 things we do differently. No hidden algorithm, you control discovery, and no shadow banning. Your feed is 100% chronological, posts appear when they're posted, no reshuffling. This section really is just to answer that question, not to point out the features that are similar, but to point out the features that makes UpScrolled different. Kept the visual of the platform because I think it's always nice to show people the UI that they can expect and help them visualize it. Just below this, we're going to work on the mission. So now that we've explained people how it works, we want to help them buy into this mission. So we're leading with that big quote that we found at the bottom of that other paragraph. This didn't start as a business idea. It started because we were fed up. Very bold, very impactful, a message that people can feel, and it feels very human and authentic. Social media was supposed to connect us. Instead, it's become a system where big tech decides who gets heard. Our mission is very simple. Build a social platform where ordinary people, not corporations or billionaires, decide the voices that shape the conversation. So it's very simple. We've cut away a lot of the text, but we're laying out very simply that this is our mission, and if this is the internet you want, you can join us. Just below this, I've taken a quote from the About page from the founder, which I think again is very human, very authentic, and he's speaking directly as to why he decided to start this platform. What's the reason that you would go out and try to take on Instagram and TikTok? And for him, he was saying, I watched people risk everything to show the world what was happening in Gaza, only to have their posts quietly disappear from friends' feeds. That was the moment I realized if a few companies can erase our stories, they own our reality. UpScrolled is my answer to that. So we're taking a very raw and very human quote, and we're also making it much more visual on the page. And I think when you read that, you immediately connect with the founder and their purpose. So it's a lot more powerful as a mission statement. Just below this, we have the features table. And again, I thought this was perfect where it was. So nothing has changed here. We're just telling people exactly how UpScrolled differs from other platforms and just keeping the table the same. I think it's great. Just below we get to the end section, we're going to build trust again. So right before we hit that NCTA, so in this case we've taken a quote from Forbes, but you could take any quote. It could be from a different media outlet, it could be just from a user, but something that hits the message home and builds trust. So UpScrolled hits number 1 on the App Store as TikTok users flock to new app. And then we're just going to end the page with your feed, your rules, finally. Join over 1 million people, should be 2.5 million people, who've already taken control back. Simple QR code to download. Okay, so that's it. They are the 3 most impactful changes that I would make to this landing page. UpScrolled has real momentum right now, real attention. Growing by 1 million users in a weekend is incredible, but I think that momentum only matters if you can convert that attention into users and downloads. Right now, I think the page is leaving a lot of those conversions on the table. So we're going to fix the hero, so tighten that message around that universal feeling, that pain that everyone experiences. We're then going to bring that mission to life and help people buy into the reason why this platform exists. And then we're going to bring it all together with a simple structure and single narrative, so the landing page feels like one continuous argument answering people's questions as we scroll the page. So if you're building a mission-driven company and you want me to review your landing page, drop it in the comments and I'll take a look. And if you found this helpful, please do subscribe. I review landing pages like this every week, so there'll be more on the way. See you next time.